Hi, and welcome to Barre with Terra. Today I'm going to take you through a quick 30-ish minute bar routine that you can do pretty much anywhere. But it's a really great way to start your day, especially if it's, a rainy day or you've got a lot on your plate. It always feels good to just start with a little bit of exercise, a little bit of challenge, but also just moving your body and building up some strength. So today for this exercise, you will need some sort of chair or something that you can hold on to for balance, a yoga mat if you have one, or a towel or just a soft surface that you can lay down on in a little bit. And if you have some sort of light weight or weights, those could also come in handy, but they're not necessarily required for this workout. So I use 3-pound weights just because I have them. They're nice, they're handy. But again, you don't need to use any weights at all. If you're looking for something around the house that weighs around 3 pounds, a full bottle of wine is about 2.65 pounds according to Google. But you can also find things around the house that help as well. So if you're looking for a lighter weight, the 4 sticks of butter in a thing, that's 1 pound. Yeah, see where I'm going here? Water bottle also works. All right, so to get started, we're just going to start with our feet underneath our hips, toes pointed forward, making sure that we're going to do a little alignment check-in with our bodies just to get started. Alignment is really important when we do bar because if your body is all out of whack, then movements won't necessarily feel right, but they also won't have the same impact on your muscles. So just to check in, we're going to start down at our feet, and I want you to think about your weight being evenly distributed through your feet. So in yoga, they talk about the 4 points of the feet, where there's a point on each side of the ball of the foot and a point on each side of the heel, those 4 points. So I want you to think about those 4 points on the bottoms of your feet as you connect with the ground beneath you. And maybe rock a little front to back just to feel kind of where your weight naturally distributes on your feet. A lot of times, some people find that they kind of stand with their weight more on their heels, which can kind of lead to some strain in your shins. Likewise, if you stand with your weight more on your toes, that can kind of develop some issues with your ankles, calves, knees, that fun stuff. So making sure that we're standing with our weight evenly distributed, these 4 points, and not to roll around. And then we're going to work our way up our kinetic chain, thinking about those knees. Now, I want you to keep the knees somewhat soft. So if you're like me and you kind of have a little bow leg, so if you look, my legs are a little bow legged here. So my knees like to naturally just hyper extend backwards. And so I like to kind of remind myself to keep my knees soft. And that just means letting the knees stay relaxed enough to where they're not pressing backward, but they're not necessarily bent either. They're just soft. So working our way up into our hips. I want you to not tuck, but I want you to think about the belly button pressing into the spine. And that will kind of just help support your lower abs, or engage your lower abs to support your hips. And that will kind of help all of this stay where it needs to stay. So from there, working our way up even further, we're going to really focus on keeping all of this nice and aligned today. So our focus is to keep that sternum lifted. Those shoulders, we'll just take a quick roll the shoulders up by the ears and down the back. So that way those shoulders are nice and rolled down the back. So I'm talking about keeping those shoulders down the back. That's what I mean. And I want them nice and straight. So our chest is going to be nice and straight. We're not pushing it forward, but we're also going to try not to round it down like this. If you've been sitting at a desk all day or all week, you may notice that this is kind of where your body ends up going when you're at the desk. So anytime you feel like this, just roll the shoulders up and down the back, lifting that sternum up. From there, I want you to think about growing nice and tall, like a string is lifting from the top of the head up to the ceiling. Now, this is a lot to remember, our kinetic chain here, but if we start focusing on this right away, then the rest of the exercises, you'll know, all right, where is everything? Checking in, Keep checking in. All right, so we've got our kinetic chain nice and aligned. From here, we're just going to slowly take a couple of shoulder rolls, releasing any tension in our shoulders. So we're going to inhale, bringing those shoulders up to our ears, and exhale, rolling those shoulders down the back. Again, inhale, shoulders up to the ears, and exhale, rolling those shoulders back. One more. Inhale, rolling those shoulders up to the ears, and exhale, rolling those shoulders down the back. Good. From here, we're going to inhale, bringing those fingertips up toward the ceiling. As we exhale, we're going to lower down our right hand, reaching up and over, taking a nice big side body stretch. If it feels good, you can throw those hips a little bit off your alignment just to kind of press into the stretch a little bit more, bringing those fingertips back up. And exhale, other side. Really getting into a nice little stretch here. So we're going to do one more each side. Good. You might be noticing your body already starting to say, oh, hello, we're doing a thing. Yay. Good. Inhaling up. Good. From here, we're going to bring those hands down through heart center, so palms are going to press against each other just ever so gently. Good. From here, we're going to sink into a little baby chair pose. So nothing too extravagant or crazy. We're not dropping those hips super low, but everything from the waist up is still going to be lifted. So we're not leaning forward. We're keeping everything nice and lifted. Good. So from here, all right, we're going to reach those arms out. Good. And we're going to reach them forward, interlacing those fingers, pressing palms forward. We're going to round through the chest. Okay, so from the side, I look like this, rounding through the chest. Yeah. Good. We're going to reach those palms up, straightening knees. Good. And we're going to lift that chest up and reach up and back. Maybe releasing those hands. Good. Big swan forward. Good. So from here, we're going to keep those toes pointing forward. Lifting up nice and tall from our hips. Good, nice and tall. If you have your chair or a dresser or whatever you're holding on to, we're just going to start warming up those legs from here. So feet are hip distance apart, which means that they're going to be underneath your sits bones. If you're looking, or not sits bones, sorry. I'm getting distracted by the fact that my naughty dogs are barking in the background, probably at a squirrel. So we're going to look for those hip bones. If you kind of wiggle your hands around, kind of feel them. They're the two little protrusions right there. Yeah. So you find your hip bones and point directly down. Your feet should be underneath your fingers. You should be pointing directly at them. That is your hip width distance apart. So if you're like me and you've had kids, your hips are a little wider. Yeah. So feet are underneath those hips. That helps to keep the alignment between your hips, knees, ankles, and feet, right? We don't want everything to be all cattywampus. So holding on to whatever it is that we are holding on to that is for support or just not. If you want to test your balance, we're going to slowly bend those knees, making sure that knees are going out over toes, so coming back to that kind of chair pose. Good. So we're going to take a couple little demi-pliés right here. So demi-plié means half bend, which means that we're not doing anything super crazy, not going super deep in those knees. We're really just warming the legs and muscles up. It's called priming. So we're priming our joints, our muscles for movement. Excellent. Good. Going for two more here. And last one. Awesome. So from here, we're going to keep those knees nice and soft, belly button pressed against the spine. Then take a couple of little elevates, which means nothing's going to bend, nothing's going to move, but the heels are going to lift slowly up off the mat and lowering down. So we're just kind of working through our feet just a little bit here, warming them up. Maybe you feel this more in your feet, maybe you feel it more in your calves, depends on what your body is used to, where those little aches and pains are starting. Awesome. And last one. We're going to work those out. So we're going to add a little bend in that supporting knee. We're going to lift our right heel up. Good. Lowering down. So we're coming back to that little chair demi-plie here, and we're going to lift one heel and then the other. Good. So we're kind of including that demi-plie with the rising of a foot. Good. Going for two more each side. So here we go. 2 and 1. Awesome. So we're going to keep that little bend in our knee. We're going to lift those heels up here for 5 and lower, 4 and lower. Notice my waist, everything else is staying nice and still. 2 and last 1. Good. Lowering those heels, we're going to straighten the knees. We're going to turn the feet out, bringing heels together. Toes are going to turn out slightly. Good. Now, the way to make sure that you're staying in alignment when we're working in turnout is to always check where your knees go when you bend them. So do your knees stay out over those toes? If so, you're in alignment. Now, notice that my feet are in a V, right? When we think about turnout, we always think about prima ballerinas and their feet are like way turned out like this, which is great and wonderful, but it takes years and years of practice, not to mention you kind of have to develop your hips in a way that do that. Most of us have hips that are kind of shaped like bowls, and so our legs kind of go out more at an angle than they do straight to the sides. So I want you to think about your toes going out more at 45-degree angles or reaching toward the corners of whatever room you're in instead of straight out to the side. So anything that we do out to the side should really go out to kind of your peripheral vision lens. I don't know. Or maybe that's just your regular vision. I'm not an optometrist. Good. So from here, we're going to lower those knees down and straighten up. Now I have my arm out to the side here just because it's habit. So you can keep your arm here. If your arm gets a little tired, you can always put it down to the side. But we're really just kind of warming things up, getting started here. Good. 2 and last 1. So straightening up those knees, but keeping them nice and soft. We're going to lift up on those heels here for 8, 7, 6, 5. Maybe feel your bones just kind of creaking a little. 2. I don't know. Numbers are hard. We'll do 1 more for good measure. Good. So we're going to bend those knees out over those toes, keeping everything nice and straight, remember? So here we go. We're going to lift one heel up and lowering down and the other. So your goal here is not to rock side to side with your hips, but keeping everything nice and still. So the only thing moving right now are your legs. Good, and it's just one at a time. Really working through all of the tiny little bones in your feet. So we're warming those feet up. Good. Last one each side. And lowering those heels, staying in that bend. You should start to feel a little bit of heat in those thighs. So here we're going to lift those heels up and lowering down. Good. 7, 6. Nice. 5. Notice my head's not moving. 4, 3, 2. And last one, lowering those heels down. We're going to straighten those knees up. We're going to take a little stretch side to side. Whatever you find tight right now. So maybe if your quads are a little burny, you can stretch those out. Again, listen to your body. We all kind of feel things in different ways. So make sure you're listening to you. All right, so we're going to move to the bar. If you would like to use weight, I usually use one at a time. So we're going to go ahead and start with those heels together, toes turned out. All right, so again, we can bring that arm out to the side. So we're working up our kinetic chain. Everything's nice and straight and in line. Belly button's pressed against the spine. Now notice here, my elbow is slightly bent. This helps protect that elbow joint, because if we keep it straight like this, there's a lot of pressure on that joint. If we keep it slightly bent, our muscles stay nice and engaged and hold that weight out there in a way that doesn't put extra pressure on that joint. So keeping that weight kind of out there, or again, maybe just keeping the arm out there, it's up to you. It's kind of a tough thing to do with the weight or without the weight. But from here, standing up nice and tall, yeah, think about it. We're going to slowly shift our weight onto our right leg. We're going to point the left toes forward. And from here, we're going to lift those toes just a couple inches off of the mat, and you're going to tap. Good. So this is a small move. But again, we're really working toward balance. Can you balance without you think? Yeah? So notice that my leg is turned out, which means that my knee and ankle are pointing outward. If you're like this, try to rotate outward. Now our rotation comes from our hips. So holding it up in the air like this forces you to utilize those rotational muscles in your hips. Good, 2 and 1. We're gonna tap and lift that knee up here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna hold that knee there and you're gonna pulse it here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna straighten out and in. Doesn't matter how high that leg is. 6 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, last 1. Good. We're gonna lower down to our pointed toe, bringing that heel back in. We're gonna lower that way down. Roll that shoulder down the back a couple times. Oh yeah, shake it out. Feeling good. Awesome. So bringing the heels together, toes are turning out, yeah. We're gonna bring that weight to a 90-degree angle here. So weight is over elbow in like a half goalpost. I don't know, I don't play sports. So looking down at our big toe on the left side, we're gonna think about our big toe having like a laser pointer in it. You know, like we're driving cats nuts with our big toes. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you with that thought. So if your big toe is pointing a laser out, we're gonna draw a line with the big toe to where that laser would be pointing. So there is our second position, a la second. Make sure that that standing knee is still soft. We're gonna lift our toes just a couple inches off of the mat. Again, trying not to lean over that chair, but lifting up, and we're gonna tap here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna tap and lift the knee up. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna pulse here, maybe adding a little fist bump. Pump, bump, I don't know. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna bring the knee in, kind of pointing our hips this way and coming out. So reaching in and out for 5, 4, 3, 2, last 1. We're gonna point those toes out to the side, reaching weight up and over. So I'm gonna take a slight lean now toward my chair. Good, and from here, we're gonna bring that knee up as high as we can, bringing elbow down toward it. Good, and extending out. So you might come all the way down to the mat. You might come to about a 45-degree angle, but we're gonna reach that knee toward the elbow and extending out. Good, 7, 6, 5, 4, keep those abs nice and tight. 3, 2, 1 more for good measure. Good. From here, you're gonna point those toes forward. Good. In my awkward position here. Good. Holding that weight up here, we're gonna press that foot up, little side pulse. Going for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From here, we're gonna cross that foot forward, maybe setting our weight down. This is the nice thing about a chair, it's like a shelf. Crossing that working leg over our foot, we're gonna reach up and over, take a nice big stretch through that side body. Excellent. Awesome. Coming up, releasing it out, shake it all out. Big inhale, roll those shoulders up to the ears, and exhale, roll those shoulders down the back. One more time, inhale up, and exhale, roll those shoulders down the back, shaking it out. And I'm gonna swap my bar so I can keep facing you. Spin that way. But if you need to turn around, you know all the things. So we're just gonna go front and side again. So bringing those heels together, toes are turning out just slightly. Remember, 45-degree angles. All right, I'm gonna bring that weight out to the side. Elbow stays nice and bent. Everything staying nice and lifted. If you have to run up that kinetic chain again, think about Ankles, knees soft, hips, belly button into spine, sternum is lifted but not pressing forward, and top of the head reaching forward. Good. From here, we're going to point our, what foot is that? Our right foot forward, lifting a couple inches off the mat and tap here. Ooh, Charlie horse. Somebody needs water and or bananas. And that somebody is me. Good. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to tap and lift that knee up. Good. Again, trying to keep that turn out. But again, I don't want this out to the side just yet. So we're here in front. We're just pointing the knee that way. Good. 2, 1. We're going to hold here and pulse. I'm feeling the burn. 3, 2, 1. Holding here, we're going to straighten out and in. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Good. And coming down to that point and closing. You need to stretch it out. A good stretch here. Put the ball of the foot back behind you and maybe bend through that back knee, sitting back just a little bit, stretching through your quads and hip flexors if you need it. Good. Coming back to our first position, heels together, toes turned out. You're going to bring that arm to a half goal post. Make sure weight's above elbow. Nicely done. Good. The nice thing about a video is I can check my form, which is not always perfect, but you know what? We're working on it. So looking down at our giant laser toe. I wouldn't say giant, it's adorable. I have an adorable laser toe. We're going to draw a line out to where it's pointing, lifting a couple inches up off the ground. Check this leg. Did you just shift way over like I did? If so, or did your knee just go? Yeah, so I want you to think about soft knee. Belly button is pressing against that spine. Good. Everything's lifting up, and the leg will just kind of float. It's weightless. We're going to tap here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tap and lift that knee up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Make sure you're standing foot. Toes are not gripping. Kind of nice and gently hanging there. Hold here. We're going to pulse, maybe adding that little arm pump. Think about maybe a string on that hand. It's kind of pulling your knee up. Good. 3, 2, 1. We're going to bring that knee in and out. So crossing through and out. Good. 3, 2, last one. We're going to point those toes out to the side, reaching that weight up and over. So again, taking a nice big extension or kind of, I don't even, again, dogs. Ugh. Should have been a cat person. All right, so from here, we're going to flex that foot, reaching toes forward. So knee is going to be pointing forward. Good. So again, you might kind of bring that toe down. Oh wait, yeah, we have to do that part first, don't we? So bringing the toe down, we'll get there. We're going to bring knee to elbow, keeping our nice lean. So again, maybe that toe goes out to a 45-degree angle instead of going all the way down to the mat. Good. 6 more here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one, extending out. Now we're going to flex those toes forward, knees forward, pressing here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Crossing over, maybe setting that leg down. Reach those fingertips up and over. Nice big side body stretch. Excellent. Coming on up, shaking it all out. It's time to do the booty. Slash back. All right, so from here, we're going to take our weight. So you can use a little small weight for this. You can also, if you have a bigger weight, like a 5-pound, 7-pound, maybe even a 10-pounder if you're super strong. But what we're going to be working with our weight is mostly our lats, our back muscles, which are a little bit stronger than being able to hold the weight out here. So if you want a bigger weight to get a little bit more challenge here, by all means, go for it. I'm going to keep my 3-pounder because it's what I have right here. So going ahead and get started. I'm going to set that there in front of me, so that way I can grab it in a little bit and you'll understand in a minute. So starting out with those feet in that parallel position that we started cross with again, make sure that knees are staying nice and soft, feet are hip width apart. From here, we are going to point our right toes back. We're going to lift up a couple inches and we're going to tap here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lifting up a little bit higher, we're going to cross back behind us and then cross around front. So you'll notice I made a big arc over my yoga mat. Good. Now I'm not going to look at you because I want to keep my hips nice and square with my chair. I am a poet and I didn't know it. Good. 3, 2, and last one. Excellent. So from here, I am going to take a step back because I have a long torso. But from here, I'm going to extend those toes back behind me. Good. Maybe coming parallel with that leg to the mat. So from here, I'm going to draw 5 circles inward with my leg. 3, 2, and 1. And I'm going to draw 5 circles outward. 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to slowly bend that standing leg. I'm going to bring this knee in to meet it. And then I'm going to extend out, maybe straightening standing leg. So coming in and out. Good. 3, 2, and 1. Now if I want to get fancy, I'm going to turn that hip out just a little bit. So knees facing outward. I'm going to do the same move, but with a turned out back leg. So that means that my heel is going to come toward the back of my ankle. Knee is going to be turning out to the side, and I'm going to extend out. I'm coming in and out. Think of it like, actually, I can't even think of a good, kind of like how a curtsy lunge uses turn out in the back, except that we're doing this standing. Good. 2, and last one. We're going to hold that leg there. We're going to reach our right hand down. So same arm as leg, holding that weight. So we're going to just let that leg hang there, float there, whatever you want to say. And we're going to roll that weight up. So elbow's going to come straight up toward the ceiling, weight comes up toward the chest. Again, hips and shoulders are square with your mat. So lifting here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keeping that arm slightly bent. You're going to fly here for 8, 7, 6. Your legs should feel this. 4, 3, 2. Last one. You're going to turn hips forward. So everything's nice and open. Kind of like how we were earlier for that knee thing. We're going to reach that weight up toward the ceiling. Good. And from here, good. We are going to flex that leg one more time, pressing here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Elbow's going to come in and press up here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding there. Press up here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. With the elbow pressing up. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, if you'd like, you can place that weight in your knee cavity. Give it a good squeeze. If you're worried about dropping a weight on your foot, set the weight down. Not mandatory by any means. I just like to do it because it makes me get in the right position here because I squeeze that weight and then heels lifting up toward the ceiling. So from here, we're gonna pulse that heel up toward the ceiling for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Extra challenge, squeeze that weight, pull it out to the side. Awkward fire hydrant here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna pull that weight out, setting weight down. We're gonna lift that foot to either the back of your chair like I have, or you can turn your chair around and just kind of use the seat of your chair. You can also do this whole thing like this. So, options. We're gonna reach those fingertips up, take a deep breath, and we're gonna fold over that front leg. So, reaching toward ankle, shins, thighs, toes, chair back. I don't know, grab your earlobes if it feels good. Either way, we're breathing over those muscles. So I have my right leg up. I'm gonna put my left hand on my left ankle, shin, or thigh. I'm just gonna twist over that front leg. Good. And coming back, I'm gonna switch sides here, maybe opening up hips so I can reach up and over. And take a nice big side body stretch. Good. And coming up, lifting that leg up, shaking it all out. Other side, quickly, because, you know, we've got things to do today, right? So, weight goes down in front of our seat. Good. Standing up nice and tall. We're going to reach those left toes back, lifting up, and small little tap here on that mat. Good. Tap, tap, tap. Excellent. Good. 3, 2, 1. We're going to cross behind us and out. Good. 6, 5, 4, 3. Again, making sure everything's staying nice and straight. Last one. Good. So extending out into that flat line. Great. So 5 circles inward. 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 circles outward. 4, 3, 2, 1. So keeping legs parallel, we're going to bring that knee in to meet or match. So everything's even here. And extending back. Good. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Everything turns out. So I'm coming down in a turned out position and coming out. So from the front, it looks like this. And oh, that's a wall. So coming in and extending out. Good. 4, 3, 2, good. And last one. So we're gonna keep that toe out, reaching down, grabbing that weight. Little row here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Little fly here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reaching that weight all the way up to the ceiling. Good. Opening up the hips and the chest. Good. So from here, flexing that foot and lifting here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pressing that weight up here. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Leg 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Arm, breathe. You can do this. We're almost done. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Weight goes in that knee cavity. You're almost there. Your body's probably shaking, but that's good. Pressing that knee down toward the mat. Pulse that heel up toward the ceiling. We are building a booty. 4, 3, 2, 1. Squeeze the heel in toward the booty, pulling out to the side. Awkward fire hydrant. Don't let your abs drop. Everything's got to be nice and tight here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Pulling that weight out of that knee if you have it there. If not, that's okay too. It's enough of a workout without weights. Reach those fingertips up, nice and long, over our leg, stretching it out. Excellent. So from here, taking a second to breathe, releasing any tension in your legs. We have our left leg up, right hand is gonna grab ankle, shin, thigh, twist, and maybe looking back over your left fingertips. Good. All right, deep breath in. Maybe turning again to the back, reaching up and over. Good. Never like turning my back on a class. So, eventually coming up to standing and lifting that foot out, shaking it all out. Excellent. So we're not going to do a big stretching or ab sequence. I'll do that in a separate class that you can watch. But this gives you some good standing exercises that you can do pretty much anywhere and anytime. So a couple of stretches that you can do to stretch out some of the muscles that we've been doing. You sweep those arms up and sink down into a nice yoga squat. If this is not something that your body is happy doing at this point in your kind of adventure with your body, maybe just come down to kind of a wide squat like this. Use those palms to press into your thighs, trying to open those knees and hips up. Yeah, but if you are in a yoga squat, sit down, breathe and relax. Good. And if you're ready, you want a little bit extra stretch, you can come to a seated position, sending those feet out into a nice wide position here. I like to do this with my feet flexed, kind of keeps the hamstrings engaged, so that way you're less likely to kind of overstretch those hamstrings. Your hamstrings can be kind of like a mother-in-law. They'll let you do something that might be terrible, and then you'll think everything's fine, and next thing you know, they hold on to that terrible, terrible thing for many, many years. I say this because my mother-in-law is actually great. So anyway, we're sitting here. We're gonna reach up and over, keeping that chest nice and lifted, just stretching out over the leg. But your hamstrings are really finicky, so maybe you know somebody like that. So just think of your hamstrings as like the people that'll go along with something in the moment, and you'll think everything's hunky-dory. But in truth, you stretched them too far and you didn't say anything, and then they're gonna be mad at you forever. Yeah, like trying to do a high kick in a Zumba class and then you can't even move for like 3 years. It's true story. Good. So from here, we just went up and over with our chest lifted. Now we're gonna go up and over, but we're going to turn our chest toward our leg. Slightly different stretch here. Good. Making sure that you are breathing. So I like to borrow from yoga, our breathing, because if you breathe into your muscles as you are stretching and really just think about the oxygen that you are inhaling going to your muscles, especially in areas that you are feeling tight, it helps to relax and release so you can get a little deeper into your stretch. Good. So we're going to inhale. We're going to reach those fingertips forward and walk, keeping our spine nice and straight. So you may not go very far. That's totally fine. Our goal is not to show off the shapes that our body can get into. It's to get a stretch. So here you should feel this kind of in your inner groin muscles. Should feel really nice. Good. Excellent. We're going to walk those hands back. Now this time I want you to tuck that pelvis, rolling forward just a little bit. And maybe this was where you were to begin with. Our goal here, if you're kind of sitting back, where you can't necessarily sit up on your sits bones, those two little protrusions in your patootie that you can sit up on. So if that's where you are, then I want you to press those hands and just work on rolling those hips forward
so that way you can sit on those sits bones. So those bones are for. So if you're here, I want you to slowly just press and work on that. Yeah, because if you can't sit on those sits bones, then this is not going to stretch where you need it. So working on getting here. Excellent. Now, if you are sitting on those sits bones, I want you to roll through the spine this time and reach it forward. So this stretch, when you round through the spine, is actually getting more toward your lower back than it is in your legs. And this is an important thing to know the difference between, because if you're trying to stretch your groin, a lot of times people will do this, but they'll keep their spine rounded, and keeping that spine rounded really takes away from the stretch in the leg. So if you keep that spine nice and straight, chest lifted forward, you'll get into your groin muscles better. Excellent. So one last kind of stretch here is to bring that leg forward. Good. And again, just leaning forward. This is kind of like a lazy pigeon, in my opinion, because you're still stretching through all of those adductor muscles or abductor muscles. I always get those two mixed up. And I haven't had coffee yet this morning. So the outside of your thigh here. Good. Making sure that you're paying close attention to any tension that might be in your knee. Good. And trying to keep the opposite thigh bone down. Good. So again, just listening to your body, opening that up and switching sides and coming down. Excellent. Good. One last little stretch. We're gonna keep those feet out in front, reaching fingertips up. Again, you can keep toes flexed or you can point them. We're gonna lift up and we're gonna extend out and over, reaching toward those toes, ankles, shins, thighs, earlobes, shoulder blades, whatever feels good to hold on to, do that. And you're gonna look out toward those toes. Again, trying to keep the spine somewhat straight. So maybe if you have to walk your sits bones out a little, get some of the fleshy bits out from underneath you so you can get a little deeper. Again, we can use that breath. So a really good fun trick that I've learned over the years is to use an inhale and exhale like you would do in a yoga class with your spine, and it helps you to get deeper into your stretch. So if I inhale and straighten through my spine, and then I let my exhale roll out and deflate my spine. And then inhale, trying to keep my spine or my head and everything where I left off. And exhale, sinking a little bit deeper. I'll find that I can get a little deeper into my stretch than I normally could if I just kind of powered down there. So finding a good spot, holding there, slowly kind of rolling up. And I'm going to, again, opposite hand is going to reach back and I'm going to twist. One last twist of the day. Good. Really making sure that I'm stretching through. I'm going to bring those fingertips together, pressing forward, rounding through the spine. Good. And bringing those fingertips back behind me. I'm going to press that fist. Maybe lifting my chin up toward the ceiling, opening up the chest and shoulders. Good. Rolling out. And another fun challenge, bring those feet out nice and wide, not re-stretched a little bit. You can press up into your yoga squat. Turn slightly. Super awkward, my middle name. All right, so maybe you find that the yoga squat is a little better for you now. Maybe it doesn't. Again, if you're not here, come into that squat here. Good. And we're going to plant those hands down on the mat. Slowly coming up to standing, turning toes forward. We're going to bend those knees, rolling up one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, those shoulders up to our ears, rolling shoulders down the back, shaking it all out. Thank you so much for coming and doing our bar toning class.
Not sure what I was going to call it there, but thank you so much for working out with me this morning or night, whenever it is for you. My name's Tara. I do classes like this on occasion. It's kind of a new thing for me. So if you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know. Can't change things if I don't know. So have a great rest of your day. Make sure that you stretch and drink water, and hopefully I see you around soon.